Okay.
They're cheap, is what they are.
Okay, there you go.
Small loop going on there.
No, it's my background audio.
Okay.
Okay. That's evidently fixed. I don't know why it just decided to take a shit and dump all of my um all of my audio settings. So
Wow.
yeah, no real particular reason. But it's back now.
All my friends were jealous when I told them about how we killed the sea serpent.
Now, yeah, you guys came up with a really good plan, and then you got really lucky with the rolls, and she didn't do very good with the rolls. So, yeah,
That's all it takes.
yeah.
You kill dragons with that shit.
Well, I mean, her crappy rolls. I mean, she didn't get a single good roll. Like even her initiative was shit. I think she got like a 1 for the initiative. I'm like, oh, okay, well, she's fucked.
I like to watch the replay because you show their hit points on your screen.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just a totally different look on this end of things.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't know how many hit points, and I don't know what the fuck this creature is going to do. I mean, you know, we just get into it and see how it works out.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't know it started out with 27 hit points.
Yeah, that was
So
yeah, when I remember when I put that in the dungeon. I mean, it was one of those things where the whole reason for it being in the dungeon was kind of a lesson to the players that you don't have to fight every single fucking thing that you run into. Sometimes you should run away, you know?
okay,
And and so that's kind of why Rivi was there, and you guys did not run away, and but you thought it out. I mean, even at level 1, you guys were able to come up with a plan and implement it, and took care of the situation. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the difference between encountering that thing while we're on a rowboat and or where we just did some, basically played swamp people,
right,
alligator hunting. I mean, because that's what we were doing, and and so I mean that's totally different because
right, and not being in the boat was a lot of what saved you
yeah,
because um, she would have just crushed your boat. In
yeah,
fact, it has an attack for boats, like ships like merchant ship size or smaller. It can wrap around and just crush it. Hello, Cameron. Hello, Devin. We'll give
Hello.
we'll give Glenn another minute here.
Did y'all do your shopping? Did you buy anything?
Me? What?
We just thieved and we just got like 1,000,000 credits.
Oh,
And
shit.
did you do your shopping? I guess that's a no. Uh,
Oh, man. Did you? Did you buy it?
I didn't buy anything. I was debating about it, and I landed on I don't need anything right now.
I did. I got all kinds of shit. I got a disguise net, body net, so I can change my appearance.
That's
Make-
a really
yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, and then I got the full motion chameleon modification to my battle dress, so I can get massive stealth bumps when I'm trying to stealth around in the battle dress mode.
How much did that body net cost? That sounds freaking awesome.
it was not that much, really. Let me.
We might be able to get enough for like the crew then. So if we got to do anything weird,
Yeah.
guys ourselves.
I have to find it. I think the body net is on. Oh, I actually wrote the page on my character sheet. Let me look.
Nice.
82. It's in page 82 of the Central Man catalog.
Okay.
The Central Supply catalog is that based?
That's right, the updated one, page 82.
Oh, I don't know if we have the updated one.
Well, I think it's in my computer somewhere.
It's on the server if you don't have it.
Yeah, I got like a USB stick. I gotta unplug some stuff to plug it in though. So if it's on there,
it would be on the server, not on the USB stick.
Oh, okay.
Let me. I want to double check, make sure that it's working.
I'm looking for 82. I'm almost there, and I'll have the price.
It is not working. Hold on a second, I'll be right back.
One. For some reason, I can't click on it and just type in a stupid page number. So you have to bear with my scrolling. Here we go. 100,000 credits for the full body, or you can do a 20,000 credit version that will do just your head. It's a set of short-range holographic projectors woven into a face covering net, or in my case, full body, that can completely transform a person's appearance. Placed over the head, this net was originally developed to produce virtual hair. It can mimic the appearance of any individual, real or imagined, creating holographic features that float just above the surface of the net. The net will almost always fool even very close visual inspection, but is easily detectable by electronic means. The whole body version is also available and can be worn above clothing and will completely transform the body. As the net closely follows the contours of the real face or body, alterations are limited, being the same general size and shape. Slightly larger is possible, smaller is not. The net includes batteries that maintain the disguise for a full day with wireless recharging possible.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He should get back. Then we can do the job.
That might be handy, yeah.
I think I'm gonna buy 5 of those.
Yeah, they're just TL12, so they fit into the parameters.
All right, I'll write that down. Let's see. So times 5.
And that's called a disguise net, the whole body version.
Okay, so the server is back up.
For the crew.
And I posted it into our messenger group.
Thank you.
And Captain Beth just bought 5 full body disguise nets.
Nice.
Oh, I got the head ones. So.
You just got the head ones?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, for a job, I'm sure.
You can change your face up and hair and all that.
Sorry, what page was that disguise net on? 81?
82.
82.
Okay, I'm going to ask for the username password thing, and I'm going to physically write it down so I never have to ask again. Because I just feel stupid.
There, I will go ahead and put it into the messenger chat. It is... There you go.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
Did you find it, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, neat little thing at a relatively low tech level.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, see, I don't. So I understand how this thing works. I don't understand why the holographic hull on the Harrier is different than
The
this.
time that they were published.
Probably, yeah, because I mean, the way the holographic hull on the Harrier basically works is that the way it's described in the book is that it's only good for basically changing essentially the colors of the ship, and I'm like, who cares? Because the fact of the matter is, if you've been pirating enough, and of course you're going to change up your color scheme, right? So sooner or later, they're going to quickly catch on to that because one, the Harrier is a fairly unique vessel. There's not very many of these things left. I mean, you guys might be flying one of the last 5 in the entire universe. And so there's that. And so if you're using that as your pirate vessel, it doesn't matter if you're changing the color. It's not, I mean, I don't really think the authorities are so stupid that that they're going to just, oh, well, that ship's the wrong color. Well, never mind, let them go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially after the shit we've done.
Right. So I mean, I like this description a lot better, and this kind of makes more sense. That the holographic hull is going to change at least certain aspects of the ship. You would have to stay within the same tonnage, but I don't see why the holographic hull wouldn't allow you, for instance. I mean, the Harrier is what, a 200-ton.
Yeah.
There's really no reason that you couldn't mimic a a far trader or something like that. I just
at least until they get at close range or something,
right,
or medium at the very least. I mean,
well, and the
I
other
agree
thing,
with you on that.
the other thing about the holographic hull on a ship is that there are certain signatures that the ship is going to be giving off that may or may not match. Like, let's say that you set the holographic hull to be, a far trader. Well, yeah, but a far trader is not going to probably not have a particle barbette, which is going to be, if it's powered up, it's going to be, it's going to leave a signature, whether it's shot something or not. Your missile rack, if it's filled with nukes, a radiological alarm is going to be going off somewhere, and so I mean, there's certain things that it's not going to be able to hide. But I always thought the idea of, oh, well, you could change your colors. Ooh,
Yeah.
Hooray!
I did drop $50,000 into commemorative medals to celebrate our Pirate Lord status of Captain Beth. But we all kind of earned that, so we were here when that happened. So
yeah, share in the glory.
Yeah, it's probably got our new pirate logo, in a real kind of shiny, kind of holographic black that has like a faint, Harrier going across it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Glenn is. I haven't heard from him. Hope everything's okay. So, anyways, welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We are starting a little bit later. We're waiting for one of our members to pop on, and he has not. So we're going to go ahead and pick up and go with it. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. We were just discussing, these guys are doing some last minute shopping before they prepare to leave Thief, and Thief's the place to do it. It's Pirate Planet, tech level 15, 0 law level, and that's the traveler dream. Before we get started, we'd like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. And tonight we would like to thank Dogmite Games. Dogmite Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your tabletop games, and such as like custom DM screens and dice vaults, dice trays, player vaults, dice towers. They've got all manner of really cool stuff. And all of their items can be customized. If you order something that's customized, it'll be available for shipment in about 6 to 8 weeks. But they keep a lot of stuff in inventory, so don't. If you're in a hurry or you just want to try it out, you can go check out their in inventory stuff. All of it's beautiful, and those will usually ship in 1 to 2 business days. We do have a 10% discount code, good for everything on their site at checkout. Just go ahead and put in code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will net you 10% off of your total purchase. If you are a fan of our weekly Pirates of Drinax game, we do have a website that'll be listed in the description down below. It was just updated yesterday, I want to say, with a new news article. There is going to be some interesting crossover stuff that's going to be coming in, and between this game and our Friday night game. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to coordinate that yet, but there will be like a crossover event plot where the two ships passing in the night, no pun intended, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely check out that website. If you like the content that you're seeing, go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see the fan likes.
So if the two crews do come in contact with them, and we get a hold of that other crew, would I, in essence, be fucking myself?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I hope I'm good.
I highly doubt that you would. I mean, yeah, I highly doubt that you would be given an opportunity to kidnap the other crew, and you probably wouldn't even want to get into any kind of space battle, because I mean, you're talking about your what is this, a 600-ton Rorik's command vessel versus a 75,000-ton MR class, essentially a demilitarized battle, quote unquote, demilitarized battle cruiser. So, yeah, I don't really foresee that being too much of a problem. But there will be an event where the crews will rub elbows, and there will be some. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but there will be some interesting implications that will be foreshadowing the future.
So we'll just be doing stuff that the other crews have to deal with.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, mostly it's going to be foreshadowing a bunch of stuff that we may or may not. It's really going to depend on the release schedule from Mongoose of what's coming out, because I, as much as they try to keep Traveler Wiki updated, and I know that. I mean, they've got a backlog of stuff that there's just simply not enough people, and I hate to criticize, because I would help if I could, but I'm not those people. I've got my own shit to do. But the Traveler Wiki is not. It's highly insufficient for what I need, and that's an unfortunate truth. So I kind of need to wait for a product to be released by Mongoose, that's going to have all the information at my fingertips in a PDF on my screen that I can reference and look at whenever I need to. And that the last I heard, we're looking towards the end of this year, probably I'm guessing probably between end of November. So, but the timeline that we're in fits with this, and it's kind of a big elephant that's going to be sitting in the room that I can't really ignore. So, so yeah. But yeah, there will be some foreshadowing events there. So yeah, keep in tune for that, and we'll see how that turns out. So you guys did your shopping on Thief. Who wants to make the astrogation check? Suppose I should.
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Sorry, I don't have my
Your dice
out.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
And we're headed back to Drinax, is that?
Yes, that was the plan last week.
We need to get our nerd over there.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Yeah, so that is a 13.
Okay. So with the Rorix, yeah. You're probably going to want to make a engineering power plus intellect or education check.
Okay.
The one thing about the Sindalians is they seem to underpower their ships.
Nice. 9.
Okay. So, let's see. And you got to... So you can make a your last roll, engineering J drive plus intellect or education with a +5.
Nice. So that is 18.
Okay. So yeah, that's another nice thing. The Osiris has early jump, which means that you can, rather than 100 diameters, you can jump at 90. Energy efficient, well, that's debatable. And stealth jump, which means that nobody detects you when you, well, it's a 14 plus for them to detect you with sensors. If you jump or exit jump space, if you come back into real space, they wouldn't notice you unless they get a 14 plus on their sensors. And I don't think that would show up at all with passive. It's going to have to be an active sensor sweep. Now, just looking.
Yeah, what we're going to Nocturne, I guess. First.
To what?
Or where are we going first?
Well, you got jump 2.
So we got to get to Noricum.
Yeah, you'd probably jump to Noricum, do some wilderness refueling, then
check out our system in Borite would be where we go after that.
You could go to Borite, and from Borite to Torpal, and from Torpal to Drinax. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're probably looking at about 7 weeks worth of travel time. That's with refueling stops.
Okay.
So has Ting even ever been to the station on Borite?
No.
I think so.
No, we went to Murdoch Well, last time we were in this area where we
Right.
proceeded to be heroes of the dark side.
Right. So
Yes.
the station the station in Borite. This is the station. They have repaired. This is an old Sindalian way station, and so Borite. There is a gas giant, and I don't know if I have.
And we have our
I
own
don't have a
crew
system.
that lives here.
Well, you did, but now, um, there's basically just a skeleton crew running this thing. So, so Borite has a gas giant that is way to hell and gone out from the main world, and which is fine. I mean, you're literally talking. I think didn't we figure it was almost like four or 5 days worth of travel time just from the jump point to get to this gas giant. So, like I said, it's way out there at the ass end of the solar system, and they ended up coming here initially because they were chasing after a pirate captain, and they detected that when they came in, they knew that he had gone to Borite. They came into the system. They detected a very weak distress beacon coming from this old station. Well, this old station is an old Sindalian space station that was in a decaying orbit, and about I think that we figured it out that like in like 80 years it was going to actually enter the atmosphere of this gas giant. And they got into getting on here. They discovered that the thing was the previous pirates who ran the station had found what they thought were alien sculptures, but in reality they were Chamax. There were psionic spider creatures, and so they got into a fight with those. That was a lot of fun, mostly because Corey absolutely loathed them, which made my enjoyment far greater. And they decided in the end that they were like, well, you know, this is a out of the way system. Nobody comes to Borite anyways, except for Augmen Raiders. And even that's slowed down because these guys put the whoop on some Augmens down on Borite. And because they put the whoop on these Augmen Raiders, the I guess you could call it the ruling council. There's not a whole lot on Borite, but they know that these guys are there, and they're like, hey, you know what? That's great because nobody's bothering us anymore. So they were kind of using this. Their pirate gang was kind of using this station to hold parts. They had repaired it. They had stabilized the orbit. They had built drones, and these drones would go out and scoop fuel, and so it works as a gas station, but private, just for you guys. And so there are, this was a customs wing. These guys are pretty much using it as cargo space, but yeah, there's a skeleton crew here now, which is far different from the past couple of years because every ship that these guys ended up taking, this is where it ended up. And so there were times where there was, 4, 5, 6 ships in orbit around this gas giant because it only has space for, what, 2 docking collars. And so, but now, because the bulk of your fleet has been transferred to defending Tech World, there's probably one other ship here now. The other few that aren't in the defense position for Tech World are off doing piratey things, and there's just a skeleton crew left operating this station. So that's the story behind this.
Give us a chance to let our hirelings earn their keep when we roll up here. They can surely provide the current crew a little rest as they take over some duties while we're docked here.
You could swap crews if you wanted to.
Whoever wants to swap can swap.
Yeah.
It might be cool with like low key.
I mean, I honestly cannot imagine anybody willingly wanting to take a rotation on this space station, because you are out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, borate.
We should look it up and fucking leave it.
I mean, there's probably a lot of booze and a lot of video games. Probably, I mean, they're pirates, so there's undoubtedly a lot of porn. There might be a couple hookers, but aside from that, I mean, that's going to get boring pretty quick. And there is certainly nothing on borate that's worth writing home about. So, yeah.
Yeah, we could look it up and leave and come back if we need it at some point.
Right. I mean, it's fairly self-sufficient. I mean, since you stabilized its orbit, it is in a geosynchronous orbit around this gas giant, so it should be okay for a while.
Yeah, we'll be like, get in, losers.
And it still makes a great spot for you to stash loot.
Yeah.
Or prisoners.
Or
how much is a skeleton crew then? Like, how many can we pick up?
You could probably pick up. You could pick up a skeleton crew for this, probably for. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want to say like 6,000 each.
I mean, like, how many dudes are in it?
Oh, you probably only need like for something like this, maybe 6 of them.
Okay, so we could
2,
add
3,
6 to our crew and then close this.
It looks like there's 8 main rooms. I would assume that it doesn't look like they're using bunks. I mean, they could. So I mean, a crew of 8 is standard. I don't see why you couldn't get by with a crew of 6.
Okay. Do you guys want to add 6 to our crew for now?
And we're just going to basically shut this place down and leave it on automation. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Especially, I mean, we need ships, and even if we're supposed to be going low key, that just really tells me that we don't get caught doing anything. Like, no one can be talking about it. So we might need to stop kidnapping people, because they'll talk. If we space and kill everybody and recycle the ships with our own crew, we could, we need people to run that ship.
True. Okay.
So I mean, but yeah, but
taken off.
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your last couple of jumps and you end up back at the floating palace. Docking at the Royal Docks, of course, because the standard docks are pretty much permanently damaged, along with starport control. They were damaged when the Aslan pelted the world with rocks, and they have not been repaired yet. But that's okay, because very few people bother coming to Drinax, and it's not like Drinax has its own very much of a navy anyways. But you arrive back at Drinax, and you disembark, and Professor Belzoni is, of course, very excited to be here. In fact, coming in, he's plastered to the windows, wanting to see the floating palace of Drinax, and actually have. Yeah, this is. I don't know who the I don't know who the artist is that did this, but this is a really good image of the floating palace. And so, yeah, Professor Belzoni is just glued to this because the floating palace of Drinax is the last the last ducal seat really that is still around. But that's not entirely true because there is, of course, Yggdrasil, but Yggdrasil's a long ways. So he is just amazed. And Drinax also, the other thing about Drinax that is quite exciting to him is the Scholar's Tower. Now, the Scholar's Tower, as you guys have been subtly reminded in the past, is that the Scholar's Tower is pretty much the last repository of the technological might of the Sindalian Empire. And it may not seem like a whole lot, but you have to figure that this was during the rule of man, so the Second Imperium. And the Sindalian Empire was tech level 15. And so I want to say that was higher than the rule of man. Maybe not, but they were higher than a lot of people. They had the technology and they had the money to spend it. And they now, of course, Drinax, the floating palace itself is a testament to tech level 15 amazing stuff. But Drinax itself doesn't have the finances or the manufacturing resources in order to replicate most of this tech level 15 stuff. They barely have enough to keep the floating palace afloat and keep what they have working. And a lot of times what they have isn't working. So he's going to be...
just dropped off a bunch of cash, didn't we?
Well, yeah, but when you say a bunch of cash, that's not a bunch of cash. It's a bunch of cash to you, but not to essentially a kingdom. So, yeah, how much was it? It was like 10 million from your last windfall?
It's 25 mega credits.
Oh.
Yeah.
For King Oleb?
Oh, how much did he get? I don't remember.
I thought he got I thought he got something like 10 million. So I mean, yeah, he's going to be that's the most you guys have paid him yet. And so of course he's going to be extremely happy with that. But you guys sit down and make your way through Rashondo's Bazaar, the small, well, it's not small, rather large tent city of tents that are set up where people are trading stuff. Now, Rashondo is an outside trader that has a reputation for being able to get anything, and one of the stipulations for that is that in order for that relationship to continue, is that King Oleb and other Drinaxians have to trade old Sindalian artifacts that Rashondo can take and fence in order to be able to get other goods or have access to other goods. And so as painful as it is, King Oleb and the other Drinaxians here are giving up ancient family heirlooms and artifacts that are irreplaceable so that they can basically get food and supplies and live another day, is essentially where we're at. The whole kingdom of Drinax is on a very tenuous tightrope that any real big crisis could just basically spell the end of the whole kingdom. And so you make your way in and to the throne room, and where was the throne room? It was in a stupid spot. I remember that. Yeah, 15. Maybe I was thinking of the gardens. But so 15, you make your way to the throne room and introduce Professor Belzoni to King Oleb, And King Oleb, like I said, he's very ecstatic. He's very happy with the amount of money that you've gotten him. You are doing good work. It is only in the throne room. It is only you, Oleb, and Professor Belzoni. And interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to find something. Hmm. That's really weird. I've had a situation here the past, well, probably about the past 2 months. I've noticed it, where stuff I know has been uploaded and is in my should be in my file cache is suddenly not there. Like, what's going on, Roll20? Where's my shit? Anyways, so the throne of Drinax is actually this hugely uncomfortable looking hunk of metal, and this throne, it is said, the previous kings and emperors or kings of Drinax, they formed this throne out of the semi-melted hull pieces of ships that they destroyed in combat. And so this throne is just this big, ugly, half-melted, weird Art Deco thing. And and it's only you guys in here, and you know, Oleb is excited to meet Professor Belzoni, and he looks to you guys and he says, "So the professor knows about you."
Yeah.
He says,
That's right.
"Well, the professor's that could be a problem. The professor's going to have to keep that information to himself."
We should tell him about how horny all the pirates were for finding this guy. Like he's fucking dead if he goes anywhere else, basically.
Are we telling about our newfound pirate lord status?
He's terrified of us also, so
Yeah.
that helps up quite a bit.
So the reason why King Oleb wants to make sure that the good professor is going to keep this all to himself is because, of course, Professor Belzoni is talking a mile a minute to Oleb about why he's here and that he needs the king's ducal codes. And so the king says, what we'll do is we're going to have a state dinner. And that means all the important nobility of Drinax will be invited, and that will also mean that Thal Pollock, the ambassador, the imperial ambassador to Drinax, will be there. And of course, Thal Pollock doesn't know that you guys are pirates. He just knows that you're in the good graces of King Oleb, and that you're maybe a part of Drinax's up and coming possible navy. That's all he knows. He doesn't really know a whole lot about what you guys do here. The other thing that you guys know is that if every noble in Drinax is invited to the state dinner, that pretty much means that everybody on the floating palace is invited, because literally everybody has a title that they can trace back. Even the janitor that goes in and cleans the public restrooms has a title of nobility. So everybody will be here, and he will have it taking place here in the grand ball, or the grand hall. That's where they do most of their big to-dos. And And he says, so we'll have a state dinner, and I will announce my plans for opening the message orb at the dinner. We're going to make this a big to-do. And he turns to you guys and he says, so other pirate gangs are after him for whatever this could be treasure is in his message orb. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he says, so you guys get the feeling that Oleb, how Dr. Belzoni is putting this on like there's this great treasure of Sindal. Oleb's not that dumb. He doesn't believe that there's any kind of real treasure, but other people obviously believe that there is, and if there is, he doesn't want others to get in on it. And so he pulls you aside and tells you that when first of all, you're automatically invited to be present when this message orb is opened.
Cool.
Number 2, he says when the good doctor wants to leave to go on his little treasure hunting mission, I want you to be the ones to take him. Because on the outside possible chance that there is a treasure, I want Drinax to get it and not some random pirate lord out in the Trojan Reach that's going to squander it.
I agree.
So, basically, you guys have the night to, prepare yourselves for this state dinner, grand ball. I mean, you guys have been to these things in Drinax before. You were the last one that you were at was the engagement announcement for Ching Shi and Princess Rao, and of course, all of those people will be here. Ching Shi is probably mingling among the dinner guests. It is a state dinner, so I assume you guys are going to be dressed in uniform again.
Hell yes. Man,
Definitely.
we're blinging right now a lot of money worth of custom medals. I'm wearing mine. I know that.
And who's going to babysit the professor so he doesn't say something stupid in front of
That's a
investors?
very good
That's
question.
my job.
I'll hang out with him. If
Okay.
I don't mind that. I asked the professor, I'll be like, can you please tell me about my Sindalian uniform? And when he starts to do so, I'll slap him and I'll be like, you don't speak of Sindalian matters at all until told to.
Okay, don't be that mean.
Well, I mean, he can't. That's the whole reason he's here, and so
Yeah, we want to talk about Sindal this time, but
Just-
not about us.
If he starts getting anywhere near pirate stuff, just ask really nerdy question about Sindal, and I doubt he'll be able to help himself. He'll just
I
launch
sure will, yeah.
be like, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Professor.
I'll hang out with dumbass and make sure he doesn't do dumbassery. I am
Yeah.
known for my stable mind and ability to calmly manipulate difficult situations.
So there is this long banquet table that's up on the central stage, and then there are numerous other banquet tables out throughout the grand hall. And you guys, of course, are sitting up on the stage with King Oleb, and Ching Shi and Princess Rao is there. Prince, what's his name? What is his name? Prince Herrick. I knew that. Prince Herrick is there. And as usual, this is only like maybe the third time that you've actually, maybe fourth time that you've actually been within touching distance of Prince Herrick. He's very, very quiet. When he moves like he is stiff and possibly relearning how his body works. And you have to remember 25 years ago, he was burned to the point where they thought he was dead. quite honestly, he should have been. But they detected faint life signs, stuck him in a low berth, and brought him back to the Scholars Tower, where the scholars decided that they could build him back better, faster, stronger. And here he is. He doesn't show any signs of, injury, but he moves stiff. He rarely talks to anybody. He keeps to himself. The only other note of interest is that you guys made an agreement with Torpal that he would become their new space pope, and so he is now the head of the psychopomps. Was it Torpal or Clark? I always get those two confused. But then there's, of course, Princess Rao and Qing Shi. All of the three of you make a recon plus intellect check.
That'll be a 12.
That's
I
pretty
got
good.
12.
I also got 12.
Okay.
What?
Oh, we're on it, man. It's time for us to get. We're in the wrong place to go fighting, though. But,
So
yeah.
you notice that Qing Shi is also acting a little stiff, a little not quite herself. Maybe a little detached, like perhaps she hasn't been getting enough sleep, kind of thing. And Princess Rao, of course, just continues to chat away with other people sitting at the table. Now, sitting at this table are a number of people, including, of course, Thao Pollock, who is the Imperial Ambassador. Thao Pollock. He represents the Third Imperium, but of course, capital is very, very, very far away, and even the Imperial Governor at Pax Rulin is several weeks distant. I mean, as you know, Pax Rulin, was it Pax Rulin where they sent word from Marduk to clarify about executing your pirate brethren? It takes several weeks. So basically, this guy is out here on his own. It's not Drinax is not high on the Imperium's list of plum assignments. So Thao Pollock is kind of stuck out here, but the reason that Thao Pollock is here is because it's to basically convey the message that Emperor Strephon wants to send greetings to his beloved cousin, the King of Drinax. All of the royals refer to each other as cousins. They probably are on some level.
Sure.
Other people at the table, there is Scholar Voha. He is the master of the Scholars Tower. He's an elderly man, chancellor of the university, and kind of the unofficial court sage. There is Casil, who is the exiled Aslan. You have traveled with him, or at least Beth and Keith have traveled with him in the past. There is a woman, an older woman named Lady Hill, and she is probably, next to the king, one of the most influential nobles in the court. And she essentially doesn't have any time for anyone who can't trace their lineage all the way back to the old empire. And so, basically everybody else is beneath her. Rashando is there, as is another trader and also a known smuggler named Sal Dancet. And there is the representative of Asim. So when Drinax took over Asim, the ruling government of Asim was the Foundation, and Drinax, rather than deciding to install their own government because that sounds tedious, they just said, "Okay, well, you guys send one of your representatives. You pick who it is, and you'll send him with us." And that will ensure the loyalty of Asim. And so that representative is Cleon Hardy. And he basically has no clue as to what's going on. He is completely out of his depth. He actually wasn't even a politician. He was an accountant that they picked and sent. And so he has no idea what he's doing or why he's doing here, but he's always got his eyes and ears open because he's trying to learn as rapidly as he can. And then last but not least here is Chieftain Galx. Chieftain Galx is a Vespexer, so there are survivors that live on the surface of Drinax. And they occasionally, when Drinax, or when the floating palace is over their enclaves on Drinax, Chieftain Galx or another representative will come up and basically make a presence at court. The Vespexers never ever take off their survival suit. And so nobody's ever seen what Galax's face looks like. You know that it's a she. That's all you know. But she wears a full body hazard suit at all times. Even now, sitting in the dining hall, she's not eating, but she's dressed in a full body hazard suit. But so she's present, and of course Rao, Herrick, and Oleb, of course, naturally.
What about our ambassador from Corden? Is he here?
That from Corden. That is a good question. He is there. Although he's not seated on the stage with you guys. He's got his own table and down with the throngs of other nobility. But he'll come more into play later because, like I said, most of these agreements are still handshake type agreements. They're not. When it comes time for things to be written down in paper where everybody's sitting around a table, that will be the most interesting part.
Now, Tech World is a pen and papered agreed upon.
They're the only ones that have a pen and paper agreement with Drinax. Yeah. And they don't have a representative here. You guys are essentially their representative here. Pretty much, the leaders over on Thieve, they don't give a shit about the politics.
Right. I didn't mean Thieve.
Tech World. They're all scientists and nerds. They don't give a shit about politics. They just want some sense of stable safety for their world, so that they could be left alone to do what they want to do.
Right.
Even if that means creating a doomsday device that blows up their entire planet. They just want to be left alone to be allowed to do that. And so they haven't sent a representative, and essentially, I mean, like I said, the agreement was all through you guys, so you guys are their representative.
Fair enough. Would he feel like that the Tech World people might be willing to send scientists to try to fix the atmosphere of Drinax, do experiments, try to make the world a better place?
Well, there are signs that that Drinax is now, after what, a couple 500 years, something like that. It is starting to. They are starting to see signs that it is on the track to coming back. And I mean, the world isn't uninhabitable. I mean, the Vespexers live down there, but it isn't. It certainly isn't. It's not cozy. People aren't comfortable, but it is, there are signs that it's coming back. So, really, at this stage, they had discovered early on. It's not that the Scholars Tower doesn't have access to terraforming technology. They do, but it was discovered early on that they couldn't really in this case, they couldn't really do that because all the terraforming was going to do is spread more of this radioactive ash around. And so it was kind of, it's just a wait and see situation. But during this dinner, there is this conversation between Dr. Belzoni, Thal Pollock, and King Oleb, where Belzoni's describing how he found this message globe and why he came to Drinax. He needs the ducal codes from the Floating Palace's archives to open it. Obviously, the treasure of Sindal belongs in a museum, although certain expenses may be paid both to myself and to King Oleb. To be honest, I feel that I'll probably make far more money on my book deal. I intend to write a gripping work of my real-life adventure about how I found the treasure of Sindal. And so, everybody at the table is like, "Oh yeah, that's really interesting." And Oleb kind of quiets everybody and clinks a fork against his glass, and declares that tomorrow morning we will open the globe. And he says that once the orb has been opened, there will be I will issue a proclamation to all to let everybody know what it is that we have found. And so the other thing that you guys notice, and you've known this for a while, King Oleb is a big drinker. Like, he doesn't shy away, and literally he's got like a beer stein that he just keeps filling up with wine. And you guys are watching things, watching him as he drinks more and more. Ting, after dinner, you guys are having after dinner drinks. Of course, Oleb seems to be getting more and more drunk. But Ting, how Professor Belzoni kind of corners you and is just going on and on about Volani logistics.
Take a sanity check. No, I'm just...
Well, so he's going on and on about the logistics of the Volani and how the Imperium moves things from one side of their empire to the other, and he's just going on and infinitum. Ting, make a carouse plus endurance check, and let's see what you get.
All right, let me put it all together here. All right, I'll get a +1 to this, and that is it. Five.
So Ting cannot take this boring, ridiculous conversation with Dr. Belzoni, and Ting kind of snaps, and he says something kind of rude, like he doesn't care about any of this, and go bother somebody else. And oh shit. And basically he insults Professor Belzoni bad enough that your standing with the Imperium drops by 6 points. So the Imperium's like, the Imperium as a whole is like, oh well, those guys are jerks.
Holy shit! For real? Dang.
Can I spend money to try to soothe that?
Nope.
Can I? No, that's just a permanent.
I mean, it's not permanent. It is fluid, but spending money.
I slapped that guy, didn't I?
Yeah, well, probably something close to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before any of this happened, I had an idea. This guy wants to put this shit in a museum, and maybe we should try and convince the king to make him like the official historian of Drinax and open it doesn't even have to be a nice museum, but opening a museum and let him be the curator and all that shit.
Yeah, he wouldn't be interested in that. So Professor Belzoni is actually the lead professor for the University of Regina in the Spinward Marches, which again is a long ways from here. But
Is that a
Yeah.
real wealthy college?
See, I thought he'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
interested in it because he had such a thing for Drinax. But okay. Oh,
Well, we can ransom him back to the
yeah, he's a cloistered academic from the University of Regina. Let's see, it's he's a professor of archaeology, specializing in historical naval technology.
Go listen to him for a little bit.
Oh,
Make
and
his
his landmark thesis was on Volani logistics, which is what he bored the shit out of Tang with.
Yeah, I feel I should have gotten a boon out of that though, because I mean my character really likes logistics and trade and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I mean,
it's
well,
what,
and
no, I don't want to retcon it. I slapped that dude.
Well, not only
And
that, but
told
it
him
wasn't
his
even.
mom fucking collects sperm samples from the zoo orally.
It wasn't even current Volani logistics. It was Volani logistics during the Fifth Interstellar War, and is required
fuck that
reading.
dude.
It's required reading by students who are suffering from chronic insomnia at his school. So Beth, Lady Hill, the most influential courtier here, comes up and brings you another glass of sparkling wine. And she says to you that I have a suggestion, Captain, that if I were to that if you were to be a part of the Drinaxian Navy, then perhaps I should help integrate you into Drinaxian society. I will be willing to sponsor you, but only if you are willing to follow my advice.
the advice to join the Navy or additional advice?
No, her advice on how to essentially join Drinaxian high society.
Oh. Jeez.
Oh, that's the other person who is here that we forgot is General Rax, who hates you guys. He's mostly pissed off that you guys have the Harrier. He thought that should be his. He's feeling a little bit better now that he's sitting on usually on the bridge of the Rasputin. That helped.
Coming along? Are they manning that thing yet?
Yeah, I mean, mostly it's Rax, and he's got a crew aboard, and as you guys are mingling about, you can see Rax points to the window, and you hear a lot of people clap, and you can see the Rasputin fly by. He's kind of showcasing this 1,000-ton destroyer escort. This is the new flagship of the Drinaxian Navy, and he kind of gives you guys a sidelong glance of fuck you guys in your ship. I got something better.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, I don't really care what he thinks he's pulling off on that. I mean, what I do care about, though, is does he secretly, maybe if during the carousing moments somewhere in this that I could maybe probe him to find out if the ship is really combat ready. Do they have it, I mean, we're out causing a lot of shit. It's just sooner or later the shit's going to hit the fan, and I would really like to know that the Rasputin is really, just, what do we need to do to make sure that thing is fucking really ready to fly?
It is fully armed and operational.
Well, I mean, it's staffed and the people know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's got a full crew.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. That makes me feel better.
But anyways, so Lady Hill is basically telling Beth that she will sponsor you and teach you how to join Drinaxian high society, but you have to be willing to follow my advice.
I want to ask her what she gets out of me joining Drinaxian high society.
She kind of laughs and just says that well, I would gain a protege, don't you know?
Well, I will let her know. I'm going to have to try and feel the situation out and ask some other people if she's trying to do something nefarious or not.
Are you going to
Or
tell
is-
her that, or?
No. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to consider that very seriously. That's what I'm going to say to her. But then I'm going to talk to other people and try and see if I can get any information.
So Keith, Chieftain Galks of the Vespexers, comes up to you, and sounding slightly robotish because she's speaking through her helmet, and she says, "Excuse me, Mister Keith, if you have a moment, can I speak with you?"
Oh, I'd be happy to speak to you.
She says, "Well, the situation that I find myself in is that some of our young Vespexer warriors down on Drinax dream of actually going into space. Would it be possible for you to find places for them on your ship?"
Well, there definitely are some spaces on our ship. We have a large ship. It's a little bit of an additional crew. So, what are they capable of?
Well, she says, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to build them up. They have very minimal skills, but they're all of them are eager to learn. So you can train them to essentially do whatever it is that you want them to learn. Even if that means, just learning to be Marines.
Right.
Cool.
We could definitely use some Marines. That and potentially some help with the various other aspects of the ship. We could definitely put them to work. How many are we talking here?
She has six Vespex or warriors that have come to her wanting to see if there was some way that they could, because she has told the tribes about you guys specifically and the somewhat exciting news of the float from the court of the floating palace about how Drinax is going to be a kingdom again, and most of the Vespexers don't give a shit. They're like, whatever. They live in squalor, and their daily worry is, where are they going to get fresh drinking water, and oh my god, is that rat that I just ate radioactive? So, and of course, a lot of the foodstuffs that are purchased and brought in to the floating palace, a lot of that actually, Oleb still considers the Vespexers to be part of his kingdom, and so a lot of that food gets sent down to the planet. So the Vespexers, they they have bigger concerns for the most part, but these six came to her specifically and really liked her tales of your exploits and this brilliant new navy that Drinax is building, and so they want to learn how to be in space.
Let's start with having them trained to be Marines, and then we can work our way into potentially other positions depending on how well they do.
Okay, she is extremely happy by that, and she tells you that she will let them know. Probably she won't be present tomorrow for the opening of the globe, but she will be journeying back down to the surface, and she will let these six know and send them up, as soon as possible.
That will be very handy.
So Ting, after wheeling away and leaving, oh man, poor Ting. I'm gonna give Ting a different one. So after wheeling away from Professor Belzoni, you spot there is an Aslan, aside from, of course, Rexar, and aside from Casil. You spot another Rexar, or not another Rex, another Aslan, and he is talking to well, he looks like this. What the hell? Where's all my shit?
Probably in your digestive tract.
No, I'm missing.
Oh well, that's so it should be.
I am missing stuff.
Roll 20's being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, oh, you wanted cameras, huh?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you complained.
You want cameras?
Yeah.
We'll delete half your shit. How's that?
Yep, you better put lotion on your skin.
Right. Right. Hold on here. I had this all set up for a reason. Okay. So this Aslan that you see looks like this. And he is talking to this woman, and she looks like this. And you have not seen either of these two at the Imperial Court before. Or, I'm sorry, at the Drinaxian Court. You've never seen these guys here.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah.
And
I'll walk over,
Okay.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
So he introduces himself as Philoke, and he curiously, he's very well mannered in human mannerisms for an Aslan. He courteously introduces her as Dai Kinnear, and you guys kind of chat. He tells you that like Casil, he is an exiled Aslan that has been trying to make his way in the Trojan Reach, and tells you that perhaps that I will settle down here on Drinax. This is a lovely palace, and Dai Kinnear, Dai comes over, kind of gets closer and closer to Ting, and is heavily flirting with you and like touching your arm, and she's really flirty with Ting.
She's not trying to steal my medals. Hope.
No. She go ahead and make a recon plus social check.
Okay. And I'm Ting right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll get a +2 on that. That's 15.
Oh yeah. So you are dialed in to what Dai Kinnear wants, and she is very sexually attracted to Ting. And she is making the suggestion of getting out of this boring ball, and perhaps you can show her your quarters here on the floating palace.
Oh, well, no, I'm tasked with overseeing. I have a duty to my ship. I can't be going and jousting with you in the bedroom. Uh, uh, yeah, I have to make sure that my captain and her guests are safe. That is my job.
You hear your mom calling?
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So she is severely disappointed that.
But if she's interested in really getting together with me and all that, I could probably she could have a spot on our ship if she felt like pitching in, depending on what she's about.
She kind of shies away from that. I don't really know much about ships, and she's like, no, I'd have to pass on that.
Oh well, yeah. Too bad, so sad then, I guess. But yeah, this is a business mission, and I'm not gonna go. We have places for that, and I frankly like interspecies relationships. If you're slimy and greasy and blobby, oh, I'm into that. But you and your fine features and fair skin, oh, that's not my thing. I'd just be a right floppy cock. Sorry.
Sorry, lady, you're not disgusting enough.
At that, Philo kind of chuckles a little, and he kind of hooks his arm into Daikinir's arm and says, "Come on, miss. Let's go ahead and leave Mr. Henson. Let him get back to doing his important Drinaxian naval duties." And he waves to you, and they kind of saunter off. So, so Beth, you are. So you've been kind of asking around, trying to figure out, what is going on with Lady Hill, and what is she getting out of this kind of situation, and is she up to something? But basically, all the things that you hear is that that this would be nothing but a boon for you. The only warning that you're given, and you're given this warning, Princess Rao tells you that that it would be a huge social boon to you, but accepting her as your sponsor into high society here on the floating palace may also cause you to become embroiled in palace intrigue against any rivals that Lady Hill might have. She would use you as a pawn.
Oh, okay. All right. So somebody's messing with her that she doesn't like. So she's going for a crazy pirate person.
Well, she doesn't really know that you're a pirate. She thinks that you are a captain in the Drinaxian Navy.
See, I thought she'd be all up in everybody's business and know stuff.
She could know more than she's letting on.
Yeah, it's possible. What do you think, team? Should I take on another job?
I vote yes.
I vote that we wait until after this orb opens, because if we're going off on that mission, we'll come back.
It's not really a side mission kind of thing, but it could develop into something in the future.
Oh, then yeah, go for it. I mean,
more quests. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's somebody that'll have a question mark above their head when we come to port every now and then. We go up, talk to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they get the little gold exclamation mark over their head.
Yeah.
So if you're going to accept her as your sponsor, you can raise your social by 1.
Awesome.
So what does that make your social now?
13.
Ooh. So okay. Well, you're still at +2, but
yeah, it's great though.
You're climbing the social ladders, and so while you make your way back over to Lady Hill, and you're saying, I thought about it, and I'll take you up on that, and you won't regret this. And from across the table, you see that there's an influential merchant that you've noticed before. He's from Torpal, and he is complaining loudly. there's been an increase in piracy, and he looks over and glares daggers at you, Beth. There's been an increase in piracy, and something needs to be done about it. And he's so angry about this. He's drawing the attention of Thal Pollock, the Imperial Ambassador. What would you like to say to try to diffuse this situation?
Get good. No, I'm not going to say that. Let's see. Shit.
Good offer to thin the piracy there. If we steal pirate ships, then they're not really stolen.
Is that how it works?
No, I think one approach could be to point out that we, as part of the Navy, should be fighting piracy, and if he would like to point out any areas that piracy is an issue, please bring it up.
Yeah, let's you and me take him aside and see if he thinks it's like our fault for not stopping the pirates because he goes, you guys are the Navy, or if he like knows some shit and we need to take care of a problem.
Right.
So you two kind of pull him aside, and Thal Pollock is not far away. He's making his way over to you guys. And you question him, and his basic response is that it's your job. You are the captain in the Drinaxian Navy, and if Torpal is going to join the new kingdom of Drinax, shouldn't you be doing something about this rise in piracy? He says that just last week my ships were hit by Peter Vallis's pirate gang. I lost 2 good trade ships, but I don't see Drinax doing anything about it.
So he lost the ships themselves and not just the cargo?
Oh, Peter Vallis took everything.
Okay, and then I need to take a detailed report so that I can address this.
So yeah, he goes through all the details, and Thal Pollock comes up and he doesn't interject. He overhears the situation, and that increases your standing with the Empire, or with the Imperium, by 3 points. So you're...
Hey, way to get rid of some of that damage I did by slapping dude.
While you're taking a detailed account, King Oleb, who is now quite boisterously drunk, comes up behind Keith and claps Keith on the shoulder. And he says, I demand that you join me for a spirited round of hurricane boxing. This is a hurricane boxing. You see, it's a new sport that I just invented. First, you get a giant floating palace suspended on a massive anti-gravity engine. I got one of those. And second, you fly into a hurricane. And then, and this is the clever bit, you go out onto the forward top deck and you have a boxing match. And the first one to fall loses. And, keep in mind, it would be immensely impolite to punch your king.
Indeed, it would be. So...
Can't you guys just play Minecraft or something? I don't know.
I'm trying to think if there's a way to diffuse this. It seems like I've got to follow through, but maybe I could give him a round of drinks first.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, of course we're gonna have more drinks before we go to Hurricane Box. I mean, that's the only way to keep your feet under you.
Indeed.
Well, if you're preparing to Hurricane Box, might I suggest that you drink this Spider Liquor Mirage?
Oh shit! We do have a bunch of that.
Make him
No,
hallucinate.
I'm down to one. Yeah, one down to my last bottle, but I'll sure give it up. Here, drink this. This is what we've gotten in our exploits.
I just want to point out it may not be wise to drug our king.
This is a pure. People do this. This is a great liquor. I don't necessarily think it's a drug. I
He was
mean,
gonna kill all of us with hurricane boxing.
yeah.
So he takes a look at the Mirage liquor. He's like, "Oh, I haven't had this in quite some time. You've been holding out on me."
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And
That's what I like to be known for is holdout tea.
he doesn't even wait for a glass. He pops the cork on this and just downs the bottle. And so
Oh my God.
the king is quickly tripping balls, basically living through his dreams. And
Thinking you guys hurricane boxed. And
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
I hope it turns out as fun in his dream as he imagined when he was just trashed.
yeah,
I'm thinking maybe he'll forget about it.
yeah.
And
Actually,
just-
there was actually a picture for this too. but
Oh my god.
but anyway, so that basically you guys navigate your way through the rest of the dinner party.
I have one part of the dinner party I'd like to try to do.
Yeah.
And let's talk to the princess
Okay.
and thank her for her target.
Do what now?
Well, she's the one that
Oh,
told
that's
us
right.
where to go find that ship, and I was going to tell her, "Hey, man, that was really good looking out. Appreciate it."
Yeah, and she kind of puts her arm around Ching Shi and she winks at you and she says, "I've got some contacts that information will come my way every so often. I'll try to pass it on to you."
You pass them on, and we will definitely take a look at it. We had a great time. Those luxury hot tub pools. Oh, just soaking those for a week was great.
Yeah, well, these other two had to sit there and listen to the professor go on and on about Belzoni
Yeah.
logistics. But once again, she tells you that she'll pass that on, and she has her arm around Ching Shi and she leads Ching Shi off, and Ching Shi, for the most part, acts like she's being led around. And she just kind of looks over her shoulder back at you and smiles, and they take off for Princess Rao's royal suite.
Yep, that's normal. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to investigate that at some time. I report back to the captain, and I'll take Professor Boy with me. That's the reason I didn't go get laid, was because I'm supposed to make sure nothing bad happens to dumbass.
So
No, what happened is you saw what happened when people get whipped. That's what's wrong with Ching Shi, and you were like, no, thank you.
so you notice, since you guys are actually officially part of the Drinaxian Navy, and that's what the story is, and you're sticking to it. You actually have your own private quarters when here on the floating palace down here in the Starguard barracks, number 12, and so you're in this mess of rooms somewhere, and so you guys make your way back to your rooms and sleep off the copious amounts of wine and senseless chattering with the Drinaxian nobility. Most of that conversation with Drinaxian nobility wasn't quite what you would expect of Drinaxian high society, because, like I said, the janitor that cleans the public bathroom has a title of nobility. So, there was a lot of discussion about monster trucks and things of that matter, in the royal court, which you wouldn't normally expect. But you go and you sleep it off, and the next morning you arrive at the Scholars Tower with King Oleb, Princess Rao, Scholar Voha, Ambassador Thal Pollock, and Professor Belzoni, and of course you guys. And you're invited into a sealed chamber in the Scholars Tower, and the Scholar Voha tells you that the doors are sealed after you come into this room, and the room is like, it's oval, and there's a single computer console. Aside from that, there's no other decoration, no other furniture in this room, and it is completely silver, like a grayish steel silver. And you can see that there is some kind of communications net embedded in the walls and ceiling and floor. And Scholar Voha tells you that the chamber incorporates TL-15 anti-bugging technology. I assure you, there is no chance of anyone eavesdropping on our conversations in here. And Scholar Voha reaches into his robe and a pocket in his robe, and he pulls out another relic from the archives here on Drinax. And this is a second message globe. And actually, how much of this did it decide to remove on me? Huh, it kept that. Whatever. All right. And so the second message globe, these things look like this. This one is already open. And they're just a black ball. And essentially, once the correct code is given to it, the whole thing kind of rotates in half. And he explains that this one was also sent to Drinax by the famed Sindalian admiral Gani Paras. And Admiral Paras had sent this the same time, he believes, the same time as this other message orb was sent to Albi that Professor Belzoni had found. And he says that when this globe was opened, at some point in the intervening centuries, all it contained was a string of numbers and letters. He says, perhaps some of these numbers are a code, but there's none of our cryptographers in all of these years have managed to break if it is a code, nobody's been able to break it. And he says, it's possible that the second globe from Albi may contain the key to this code. And so, with great ceremony, Scholar Voha goes over to this single computer console and he types in some information. And King Oleb comes over and puts his hand on the screen and it scans his hand and he gives a authorization code. And computer systems that were built 2,000 years ago in the days of the Sindalian Empire kind of start to flicker to life. And Oleb uses the key code to enter his ducal passcode, and the message sphere pops open. And inside, it says this. Contents of Imperial Vault transferred to Admiral Paras's flagship. Admiral Paras ordered to set course spinward along Maine to refuge. Imperial family and retainers will follow if defensive lines at Salif fail. Key dispatch to the Dukes of Albi, Drinax, Depress, and Yggdrasil. Signed by his hand, Felix Stardragon, Emperor of Sindal. So this message had to have been sent in the very final days before the fall of Noricum. And so this is essentially confirmation that the Imperial treasure vault was transferred to Admiral Gani Paras. Now, who knows what she said to the Emperor to get him to agree to give her the contents of the Imperial vault, but this is confirmation that happened.
It says it's going spinward along Maine to refuge. I mean, those are systems, I guess, right?
Well, I'll bring up a system map. Now, refuge isn't a planet. I think that's where they were planning to meet. But you know that the old imperial capital was Noricum. And Noricum at that time was called Sindal. And if they were heading spinward, they would be heading this way to the left. and it says, we'll follow if defensive lines at Salif fail. And so here's Salif.
I don't think we've ever gone there.
We went through Salif, but we didn't stop. I don't think.
Following that message is a page of closely printed letters and numbers similar but not identical to the message sent to Drinax. It is followed by the word ace.
So it also says key dispatched to the Dukes of...
It says Drinax and Albi's up this direction, up off the map, and Yggdrasil, which was over here.
Right. So I wonder if that number is a key, or a part of the key.
Well, Professor Belzoni points out that the string of coordinates printed at the bottom of the message and explains that they're a date, time, location, and verification stamp. He says this is a genuine message sent only a few weeks before the fall of Sindal. The location, which is on Noricum, the old imperial throne world, but it is not. But it was not at the imperial palace. The location is not one that I recognize. This was made. I've made a very valid study of Noricum, and I don't recognize these coordinates. It must be a previously undiscovered secret base.
Ooh. Well, let's go.
So,
check.
We're going to Ace, right? That's where we're going now.
We're going to Noricum.
Noricum.
Right?
Yeah, Noricum is where these coordinates point to.
Okay, well then, I guess we're going to Noricum. Yay.
But and as you are kind of deciding, where to go next, of course, Belzoni is going on and on. He says the imperial family died on Noricum. They never were able to follow Admiral Paras to the refuge, perhaps because the rebels broke through the lines at Salif quicker than they expected. This might explain why no message globes are known to have reached Depress or Yggdrasil. The rebels swept in from Spinward side and may have intercepted the couriers, probably in the Thebes system. The Battle of Mag's Moon was one of the last decisive encounters of the war. It might be worth looking for wreckage in that system, or questioning salvage crews and junk dealers on the markets to see if there's a sealed message globe there that was ever found. But I highly recommend we follow these coordinates to Noricum and perhaps go into a secret base that nobody's ever seen before.
Heck yeah, that sounds amazing.
That does sound pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
So, King Oleb kind of pulls the three of you aside, and he pulls out a data module and he hands it to Captain Beth, and he says, "This is a copy of my ducal codes, should you need to use them. But I'm warning that the module has a built-in self-destruct. It will automatically erase all of its own data in 12 weeks, or if it's ever tampered with. And it's not that I don't trust you, it's that you will probably die horribly in the vacuum of space, and I don't want my ducal seal falling into the wrong hands, you see."
Fair enough.
So we got 12 weeks to use it, so we got to get there pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, luckily, Drinax is here. There's 1 week, give or take 3 days refueling. Wait. Oh, yeah. 1 week. 2, 3. You're looking at 5 weeks travel time with wilderness refueling to Noricum.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Sounds good to me. I was born ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill time while my hostages are being reunited with their families.
And Professor Belzoni immediately declares that he's traveling with the captain and her crew. I say that we leave immediately and go search for this treasure.
That's right. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Fast.
Yeah.
So the other thing, and Oleb kind of smiles and nods and pulls you a little further away from him and tells you privately, he says, I suggest that you secure the treasure for Drinax without arousing Imperial suspicion. Either you convince Professor Belzoni that the treasure belongs to me, or you could steal it, or perhaps the good professor meets with a nasty accident. However you decide to arrange it, that's up to you. I don't tell you how to do your job, just like you don't tell me how to be the king, God's damn it. And he says, you should investigate this supposed secret base, retrace Admiral Paras's route to this mysterious refuge, and see where she took the contents of whatever this Imperial vault is. Now, off you go. And he just kind of turns around, opens the door, and kind of the whole entourage starts walking out.
I vote we just kill the dude. Just
Okay.
the easiest, simplest way, you know.
Well,
I'll
you might want to keep him around for a little bit. He has
No, I mean when we get the vault, when we get the treasure.
He is a massive font of useless information. So who knows
Right.
what's up there?
Well,
I have
yeah.
some useful information in there.
Yeah, he might have something useful. Who knows?
Yeah.
He
Well,
might
I mean,
get it killed. If he actually meets with a sad accident, perfect. Then we don't have to lie about anything. So let's give him a chance to kill himself on accident.
well, I mean, we need to at least get the treasure before we kill him. But I mean, then just right there, just we got the treasure. That's neat, and we're getting on there. And he's like, we need to report this, and whatever, And why don't you just step out the airlock? Talk to you later.
And leave him there. I don't know if he can get back.
Let's find out.
We could put him to work on our borite system. Yeah.
So, you guys can leave whenever you are ready to do so. The 6 Vespexers have arrived. They are young, between the ages of like 18 and 22, and are very, very excited to learn to be space hands. They are, of course, still all wearing their hostile environment suits.
So we can assume they have vac suit 0.
Oh yeah, yeah. I believe they have like vac suit 1. They've been in a hostile environment vac suit since they were born. That was the first thing. They take it from mom, stick them in a vac suit, and hand them back to mom. So,
okay.
Cute.
So
Itty bitty suits with the little feet.
Yeah.
So what route are you taking? You're starting at Drinax. You want to end up at Noricum. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward shot.
Yeah, we could go straight through Marduk.
I mean, you could go straight through to Borite, and you don't have to wilderness refuel. You just refuel at your own station.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, let's go through Borite.
If we do find an Augment Raider ship that's small or whatever, I'd like to liberate that, because, I mean, those are slaves that we liberate. It would give us a good standing with people, and probably be able to get us another ship in the mix doing things.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff has gone down since the whole situation with Borite. You actually, I mean, you don't have a bad standing with Ogma. I wouldn't call it it's not a haven by any means, but you've had some good relations with Ogma. When there was a clan leader that was trying to unite all the Ogman clans, and he was almost successful until he was murdered. And so they kind of devolved back into their mess of slaving and attempting to kidnap people that could read and write, and sometimes eating people.
That's interesting. And there's also the possible Torpol pirates on our way there. We could blow up some Torpol pirates. Might shut dude up.
That's true. That's true. So Keith, go ahead and make a. Or who wants to make the astrogation check? Is that all, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still me, I think. Okay. 11?
Okay. And go ahead and make a power plus intellect or education.
8?
Ooh, you just made that. And then make a J drive plus intellect or education, and you get to add a +3 to that.
Okay. Uh, 14.
Okay. So your travel is fairly uneventful, but I will say, Beth, you need to make a piloting plus dex.
All right, here we go.
Unless you guys want to dock with Torpal and pay for refueling.
Yay! Finally broke my streak. Okay, 12.
Okay, so no need to stop. Beth pulls into the system and does some. She makes it look easy. She does some wilderness refueling, scooping hydrogen off the top of the gas giant. She makes a couple of runs, but she makes it look easy. You guys it takes you about 2-3 days to refuel and process the fuel, and then you're jumping again. And
No sign of pirates while we're just cruising through it all.
I will allow Ting to go ahead and make a active sensor, electronic sensors plus intellect or education.
All right, and I get what, +2 from the ship? Is that right?
Correct.
A 9.
No, there are no pirates in system.
All right, I'll be sure and log that data there and present it to the captain. Like, they were bitching about pirates here, Captain, but I don't see shit. I don't know what the fuck they're bitching about.
Yeah, you detect that there is some traffic coming through the system, but it's nothing. It's normal minor traffic. You don't detect any weapons fire. Oops. I want. There. You detect. There is a Serpent class scout courier that is pinging as Red Adder. There is a shuttle in system that is traveling between the very limited high port in Torpal and the ground or the down port. The shuttle is pinging as a ship named Emma, and there is a free trader, Type A free trader, that is pinging as Puttin Along.
Wow, sounds good to me.
Those are really the only 3 ships that are in the system.
Well, make sure send a report to Tarpol. Let them know that the Drinaxian Navy has stopped by to do a security check, and if had there been a pirate situation in the system when we come through, we'd have surely engaged it and dispatched them most violently.
Torpal Control thanks you for your service, and they appreciate that the Drinaxian Navy is looking out for them.
There we're here for you, buddy.
Sweet.
Yeah. So you bounce through Borite, refueling at your own station, and you finally come to Noricum. And Noricum, oh, I'm in the wrong spot. That's why I'm not finding what I was looking for. Wrong window. Here's the Noricum system. Oh, and here's Hurricane Box. Anyways. So this is Norcom. It is a binary star system. Um, Noricum is zero point 0.7 AU from G25 star. The secondary star is an M95. Oddly enough, and this is actually fairly unusual. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a trinary star system with the smaller companion star being an M65. The this is a very strange system in that it is unusual to find a multi-star system where more than one star actually has its own uh, planetoid system. But indeed, this one does. The binary that is out there has a couple of gas giants and small worldlets, and then the primary, of course, has Noricum at zero point 0.7 AU. And then this is the map of Noricum. Now, it shows that there's an awful lot of water here, but what you know about Noricum is that so Noricum is a very nasty place. It is in Sindal subsector. Do you believe? Yes, it is. And Noricum, you know that, I mean, I believe you guys have been here once before. You dealt with the old man who's growing turnips that is actually the original, or is the official next in line to be the emperor of Sindal. I bet all he wanted was some cash. He's selling off basically writs of nobility for cash, and he needs to buy more seeds for his turnip farm. But usually, if you land your ship on Noricum today, your spacecraft will scare the sheep. It is mostly agrarian. People here live in small wooden huts, settled regions. You would have to really look hard to find anything from the Sindalian past. But there are a couple of clues, like there are chunks of ferroceramic instead of stone. An animal pen uses strands of plastic cabling. A woman's necklace would be made of chips from computer memory crystal. But there are a couple of things about Noricum that is strange. The first thing is, aside from the old man that you met, nobody else on the planet seems to be over the age of 35. And part of that is because there are these large swaths of the planet that are known as death zones or danger zones. And these are where the ruined cities are, that you don't enter these areas without a vaccine. And the reason why there's nobody over the age of 35 is because they send people out to the edge. Oh, you're 35. Now it's time for you to go out to the edge of the danger zone. They go out there. They'll usually do something like digging a trench to light a fire to burn off, infected vegetation that's coming this way. And it is invariably always fatal. If the radiation doesn't kill these people, then they will be infected with one of 3 million different bacteria or viruses that were dropped on the planet that have, in the 2,000 years since, mutated and will die a horrible disease death within minutes. So the place is, it's tits. This is a vacation spot. He is sending you. So Professor Belzoni's looking over the coordinates, and the landing spot is indeed in a so-called death zone. It was made uninhabitable during the war. This particular region is up in the Black Mountains. It got blasted by mutagenic weapons. There's still, according to the sensors on your ship, Belzoni is reading that there are still live viral cultures on the surface. He says, if you get infected by one of those, you'll die of some weird cancer if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, you'll go insane and beat your comrades to death in a hormone-fueled rage before dying. I don't remember. I don't recommend going down in anything less than your best vac suits.
Does he have any vac suit skill? Probably not.
He has vac suit 0.
We can put him in a vac suit, and we can transfer. We can actually use the dragon flyer.
Yeah.
So he.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll provide some nice protection from the, outside. It's a closed environment vehicle with its heavily, it's got good armor on it,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and it's got an autocannon.
Oh yeah, your VTOL.
Yeah.
So he still looking at the sensors. He tells you, he says, I've narrowed it down to where it should be, but I'm not picking up any Imperial base. These sorts of things were always sensor shielded, so the only way for us to find it is if we land and search on foot.
Let's do it.
And then this.
I'm gonna wear my battle dress.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
Like
Yeah. And so this is the area of where you will be searching. And Beth, you can go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
Okay. 10.
Okay. So you set down, and what does this say about this?
I guess we're landing at A. Is that what we're doing?
So this is a hex crawl. So if you wanted to start at A, flying over, you detect that A is actually a small homestead, and it is literally sitting here like right on the edge of the so-called death zone. B, anywhere where it says B is considered a hot zone, radiation levels are higher than normal. You would be subjected to 1D times 100 rads per hour of exposure. And C is an old road. So this old road here kind of goes into this hot zone and is lost in some areas. And D is broken ground, which is basically a difficulty for moving through to your vac suit checks. E is an old dam. It is a former hydroelectric dam, and the condition that it looked when you flew over is that it looks like it's barely holding back the water from the lake. Of course, F is a lake. With evidently an island that is a hot zone, because, I'm sure the Sindalians looked at that lake and they're like, you know what, fuck that lake right there, and we're just going to plant a bomb right on that one island and boil the fish. So this is the area. Belzoni suggests perhaps if we set down like here, or even here, we could go on foot or in your VTOL to this homestead and maybe talk to the locals, see if they know anything about this. They've lived here for a while. Perhaps they probably know the area better than we do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll land the ship there and then take the we'll take the Dragonfly over to point A to have parlay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what we will do is we will park it here, and we will pick this up next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night, and we'll start on time this time. And this week I will spend some time going over my files, replacing the ones that are evidently missing. But we'll pick this up next week.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
yeah
Good night.
thanks. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.